Good day everyone, and this is Johanna, Loren, Arandela, and this is my output for our Module 1.3. So last summer, we went to Japan and there was this one guy who asked me where we came from. I told him we're from the Philippines, particularly in Mindanao. And he asked me then, so you experienced the war? And I told him no, Mindanao is a very big island and not everyone experienced the violence. It was actually like a prejudice against the Filipinos, especially the people who live in Mindanao, that once you live in Mindanao, then you experience all the violence and there is war and it's very unsafe for the tourists, which is very sad. Land is life. Land is the most common and oldest reason of conflict happening worldwide. It is also one of the reasons why there is an ongoing conflict happening here in Mindanao. The Bangsamoro Front and the government aims to find the root cause of conflict here in the region, end the century of war, and help people improve their life. The land dispossession here in Mindanao comes in 4 waves. So the first wave happened between 1898 to Commonwealth period. It actually sparked a shift in economic, social, and political structure here in the island. The second wave happened between 1946 to the late 1960s. The Moros and the indigenous group saw the massive influence of spontaneous migration through the government-sponsored resettlement programs. They called it Land to the Landless program, wherein landless farmers from the north are given lands here in Mindanao, which further abolished indigenous communities from their own land. The third wave, it happened between early 70s to mid-1980s under President Marcos' martial law. There was gross inequality and abuses of power nationwide. Laws that were intended to help and serve the best interests of Mindanao furthered up opened land dispossession. There were already lesser space for the native and the new communities to share that leads them to tension, and the land disputes leads to full-scale armed conflict. The fourth wave, or what we call the contemporary Mindanao, it happened from mid-1980s up to present. Numerous land-related laws and enforcing institutions were introduced, further up confusing the legal and institutional framework. Depletion of natural resources also became visible, thus the majority of the Mindanao residents were trapped into the cycle of poverty and displacement. The Bangsamoro Organic Law was introduced to reform the land governance system here in the region. However, a good governance in land administration and management should be guaranteed in order to avoid missteps. Many people experience injustices, and Lumads are one of them. Lumads are the indigenous people, and for them, land is their life. However, they are being abolished from their own land for some multinational corporations to take over. They are forced to live into some evacuation center, which is very hard to find something to do for a living. Their community leaders are being killed as they fight for their rights and for their survival. All they wanted to do is to go back to their own land and live a peaceful life. However, many people are hindering it. There are different cases of violence happening every day. One example is bullying. Bullying does not only limit to physical bullying, but bullying also happens in the internet, which is called cyberbullying. Another violence is physical abuse that sometimes leads to sexual abuse, which is even worse. We may not personally experience those violence, but we should not turn a blind eye regarding it. In life, conflict always arises between your family, friends, and anywhere. However, we can always minimize the damage or avoid it. First, talk it out. Express what your needs are. Then, if that particular need can be met, then problem solved. However, if not, there should always be a negotiation or agreement between the two of you in order to avoid arguments. And that's all for my output for my Module 1.3. Thank you. See you soon.